Welcome back to the series. So far we have learned how to send API requests, make them dynamic and even write tests to validate the responses. But when we get a big JSON response back, we are usually stuck looking at this raw, ugly, hard to read text. It is okay for a computer, but for us humans, especially when we want to show results to a manager or a teammate, it is not very helpful. Today we fix that. We are going to learn about one of the Postman's coolest and most underused features, the visualizer. We will learn how to take a boring JSON response and turn it into a beautiful custom HTML report like a table or a list right inside Postman. So what is a visualizer? It is a special tab in your JSON in your Postman response. And when I add a request, let's say add the get request, and when you see the output you see a tab called visualizer, and you can generate a nice HTML table, a chart, a bar graph. So this is where you go and access the visualizer. Right now the default is the Postman bot. You can use this Postman AI to generate the visualization for you, but right now I'm going to close this window and show you how to generate a how to use the visualizer using the custom scripting, which is using the scripts post response tab. This is where we are going to write the JavaScript so that we can convert this ugly, long, hard to read JSON into a beautiful bar, line graph or table. In this case, let's see how to convert this ugly JSON response into a nice HTML table which you can take a printout and share it with your team. And so what is the first step we want to do is we are going to use the same get request, and you can see when I hit the send, you see this raw JSON, which is a lot, which is hard to quickly find. You cannot find anything that easily. Let's turn this into a clean, simple table. To do this, what you need to do is go to the scripts tab in the post response section, just we did for our test. The magic function we need to write is Postman pm.visualizer, and you can take advantage of this autocomplete, and .set. This function takes two parameters. The first one is a template, which is the HTML template string, and the second is the data object which you want to make available to that template. First, let's define our template. We will create a variable called template variable. So this is a variable, and we are going to set the HTML and store it into this variable, const variable. So inside this we need to put the backtick in your keyboard, and within this backtick you need to put the template. We are going to write some HTML, and we will start with the style tag and then add some basic CSS to make our table look nice, like things like borders, padding, and then we will create the structure with our table with the T head and with the two headers for the table, one for the post ID and one for the title. So we see the title here and the post body ID, and it's that simple. So that's our template. So I have a template here which I am going to paste it, and we will go through what is there. So this is the HTML template which is going to convert this JSON response and put the data here and form a nice table. So you can see the table HTML tag, the header tag, the rows. So it has two columns, ID, title, and let's look at what are the other things it has. It has the so what the table body is going to do is loop through each response. The response is what we already going to capture and supply it to this HTML. So for each response loop, it's going to loop through our 100 post here. We have 100 post here or 16 or 100 posts. So you can see there 99, 98, starting from 1. So this is very hard to read and find. So what here we are telling the template is to, for each response it's going to write, it's going to loop and it's going to access this properties ID and the title. So that's our template. It's just a few HTML. It's just a plain HTML with a few special things called the handlebars. That the things we see in the curly braces, wrapped in two curly braces. Uh, so they are called the special handlebars. They are the placeholders. So we are going to supply this response data, which is, so how are we going to supply the response, the JSON to this template? So we need to write another line that is going to get the response and store it in a variable. So here you have the JSON Postman response JSON, and we are going to store it in this response data. Now we have the response data and you have the template. These are the two things we need for this Postman visualization function. So when you can see here, as I type, it says we need the template as the first parameter to the method, and then second one is the data, and then any other option. We are going to keep it simple with the template and the data. So our template is nothing but this template, and the second parameter is the data, which we have it as the response data here. So this JSON body response stored here is going to be supplied, and then the HTML template, and that's all. Now let's hit the send button and notice how this tab is going to change to a visualization tab, so we can click on it. So let me hit the send button and you see here the visualization, and check the visualization, and there you go, the blog post summary, a nice table heading and the table header itself, and the header for this content, and you can see how the initial ugly JSON with all the 100 IDs and the title for each ID is now transformed and formatted as we have defined here. So we have defined the h2 tag and the header and the body. We can even customize it more with the further HTML tags and other properties. But here we see a simple, easy to read table. It looks very clean, styled, and very easy to read. So you can scroll through it, you can search, and you can also use to create charts, not only table, but you can use it to create many other types of visualization like graphs, bars, custom reports, anything you can build with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And one final pro tip is Postman, if you don't know how to write the script, and when you take away this thing and when you hit the send visualization, we don't have the visualization, but you can enable the Postbot, the AI assistant for Postman, and you can type your visualization response. You can say give me a table with ID and title from this response, and let's see what happens. So it looks into this response and writes the script for us to generate this visualization table, and it automatically added that. How cool is that? If this script looks even more complex, but AI did it for us, the Postbot AI for Postman. So you can see all the background colors, the blue, the sky blue, and the border and all the things. And when you hit the send, you can almost see everything in this screen, and if you can easily scroll through and look more. The Postbot inserted the script automatically, and then it even sent the request, and we can see this nice thing. So that's one pro tip. Saves time. So it writes, the AI writes the code for you, and you can visualize this response as a table. And so that's the Postman Visualizer. It is an incredibly powerful tool for making sense of complex data and creating beautiful reports directly from your API responses. So in our next video, we are moving into advanced automation and workflows, starting with the collection runner. Thanks for watching.